Blue moon of Kentucky, keep on shining. As this video begins, we enter the great state of Kentucky, birthplace of my mamaw and papaw. Just heard an air brake on a truck taking off over here. We begin at the Kentucky Welcome Center. Today, I am heading to the Kentucky Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. Let's begin. Oh yeah, there's so much ahead. And the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame and Museum is open daily right here on US 25, just a mile away. I just exited Interstate 75. We are nearest the town of Mount Vernon. You can see a reddish building over here. This is the actual Hall of Fame. I know that this Country Music Museum and Hall of Fame opened in 2002 this year. It will be celebrating its 24th birthday. It's an impressive building right here. Also, down the road here, we might check this out afterwards, there is a country music venue. Looks like we hit the spot here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if it's your first time. I am Tampa J, and if you're a fan of music, country music, bluegrass, I hope you enjoy this video. If you're not, I just hope you enjoy this vicarious tour of a place I have never been before. I didn't mean to rhyme there. I'm excited to get in here. Grew up listening to all kinds of music, especially country music. As I was saying, my grandparents were born in Kentucky and they love bluegrass. I'm thinking of Bill Monroe, the father of bluegrass. I know he's from Kentucky. Also, I know upon their inaugural year, they inducted Loretta Lynn. Perhaps we'll see some coal miner's daughter stuff in here today. Who knows? It's all about the journey. And tickets are 15 bucks. I am going to pay once I enter here. It's really cool that they have these cutouts of these guitars. And also they got a banjo and a fiddle here. The only car in the parking lot. I'm gonna make my own song here. All right, let's get inside. Oh, okay, please enter side entrance. Open daily 10 to 6 p.m. So there you go. It is a little after 11:30. Wasn't a bad journey from Knoxville. Took me almost an hour and 40 minutes. And we are inside the Kentucky Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. We will exit through the gift shop. Just paid up 15 bucks. They said take as many videos and photos as you like. And it looks like at some time they have live country music right here. There's a little stage. And this is the door, the former entrance, as I showed you right before we walked in. Just to put things into perspective, fiddler contest, barn dance tonight, calling contest. That's really cool. The museum is right there, straight away. Upcoming events, Kentucky Blues Music Festival. That's cool. I love me some blues too. June 6, 2026. T.D. Young, Nat Myers, and Donovan Howard Trio. And it looks like it's happening at the Music Hall of Fame Amphitheater, which I believe is right next door. Maybe we'll check that out afterwards. Looks like someone might be playing here today. All right. And right before we enter, we have a portrait, a painting of Bill Monroe, father of bluegrass music. There he is, was just mentioning him. And also, you got Keith Whitley over here, an illustration. I'm no stranger to the rain. Over 60 Kentucky Music Hall of Fame inductees are on display, as well as a historic look of Kentucky's rich music heritage. And look at that, Loretta Lynn, the coal miner's daughter, playing right now. This is super nice. It looks like all the way around the windows, they have the inductees to the Hall of Fame. And in the center, many of the inductees have their own cases full of memorabilia and history. Let's start with Billy Moore, Paint Lick, Kentucky, sound engineer. It says that Bill Moore was born on January 28, 1957 in London, Kentucky. That's right down the street. Billy began working lighting audio at the club scene in Lexington, Kentucky area. Billy worked on a show for the legendary Ray Charles in the mid-80s at Breedings in Lexington, Kentucky. Billy also engineered for Eric Church, Mark Chestnut, Craig Campbell, Exile, Trace Atkins, and Montgomery Gentry. There's a jacket he wore with Eric Church right there. A couple other articles. That's really nice. Oh, there's a CMA award. And here's Billy's 2016 CMA award he won for Engineer of the Year. That's cool. Blackstone Cherry. Folklore and Superstition. I'll tell you what, I don't know if I've heard of one of their songs, but I want to hear one of their songs. Here's one of their guitars that they played their songs on. That's neat. Also a snare drum. Blackstone Cherry. I'll be listening to them probably in the car after I leave. So as you walk in, you got to look to the left and to the right behind you. These are the 2002 Pioneer inductees, the year they opened. Clyde Julian Red Foley, Gene Ritchie, Osborne Brothers, Lewis Marshall Grandpa Jones, John Layer, and Bradley Kincaid. Bill Monroe, Loretta Lynn, the Everly Brothers, Merle Travis, Rosemary Clooney, and Tom T. Hall. And a fun fact here, I just happen to know this. Rosemary Clooney, rest in peace, is the aunt of George Clooney. George Clooney is from Lexington. All right, we popped out of the first room. There's a couple cases in here and a sign that shows you the way. It says the tour continues to the left. There's also a QR code there if you want to grab it. Get it quick, take a screenshot, make it last longer, rewind it back. Also one more case over here that's got the old RCA dog in here, and it talks about Rubble Sanderson, or maybe that's Rubel Sanderson. I've definitely seen Legends. I've never been inside. I think I parked next to this. The last time I was in Nashville, we were going to the Johnny Cash Museum, and I remember passing Legends. So Rubel Sanderson, owner of Legends Corner, Second Fiddle, and the stage in Nashville, born in Mayfield, Kentucky. It's cool that they are honoring him, of course. And this case belongs to Skeeter Davis. And right there is a photograph of Skeeter, the famous country and western queen, Skeeter Davis. They've got a lot of memorabilia in here, even her passport. That's cool. There's a picture of Skeeter with her dog. There's a picture of Skeeter on an old wagon there, and here's an old flyer of one of her shows. Born Mary Frances Pinnock, and later, along with Betty Jack Davis, performed as the Davis Sisters until Betty died in an auto accident in August 1953. She went on to have a 43-year career performing in many venues around the world, including the Royal Albert Hall in London, England. She toured with Elvis Presley and the Rolling Stones and published her autobiography, Bus Fare to Kentucky, in 1983. And this dulcimer right here belonged to Gene Ritchie. There's a VHS tape there. Look at that. There she is, Gene Ritchie. Also, this is one of her dresses. And here she is on one of her albums with all of her dulcimers. I love the dulcimer. It's such a pretty sound. It says that Gene Ritchie was the youngest of 14 children from a well-known family of traditional singers. Her 1952 release, Gene Ritchie Singing Traditional Songs of Her Kentucky Mountain Family, was the first folk recording to be issued on the Elektra label. Oh, cool. Check this out. Welcome to the barn. Singer, song, stage, scene. Looks like we have some displays to see throughout this room as well. We'll start here in the corner. WLS. Check out all these folks here. Looks like they are also in a barn. This might be the recreation of it. By the mid-1920s, it had become a commonplace for singers to learn songs from a record instead of live performance. And across the South, folk music was merging with popular music. But it was the radio and the beginning of modern mass media that would change the old-time music forever. In the midst of the Depression, many workers fled the South for work in the big cities north of the Mason-Dixon. Detroit, Chicago, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, and the radio stations in those markets quickly realized that the newly arrived hillbillies represented a sizable audience. WLS in Chicago, a 50,000-watt powerhouse, soon became the nation's most important outlet for country music. Two Kentuckians were instrumental in the station's success. Bradley Kincaid, who quickly became the most popular performer on WLS's National Barn Dance, and John Layer, the station's program manager, and music librarian. And here he is, John Lair, Livingston, Kentucky, 1894 to 1985. Radio pioneer, folklorist, writer, founder, Renfro Valley Barn Dance, which I believe is right next door. And they are recreating the barn right here, and it talks about barn dance history right behind me. Once Lair was well established at WLS Radio, he brought to the barn dance a number of musicians from his native Renfro Valley area, several of whom formed the Cumberland Ridge Runners, the most popular group of the barn dance. Renfro Valley Barn Dance, new high school gym, East Bernstadt, Kentucky. This is one of the flyers. Also, they have many pictures of the barn dance. Check out this guy playing his banjo. These folks are just kind of posed outside of the barn. Here's an old Underwood typewriter that belonged to John Lair. Here's a photograph of the Cumberland Ridge Runners, John Lair playing the jug. Check it out. Oh, this is cool. You want to see something cool? There's the jug. That's cool. And here's a Renfro Valley hymn book, favorite hymns and poems. Here's another picture of John on stage. On the Air with John Lair. And here's a sculpture of the head of John Lee Lair. We share the same middle name, my friend. And we have a suit and a guitar that belong to Bradley Kincaid. We're just reading about Bradley over there. And we continue this way. They've got a giant map of the Wilderness Trail here. A little bit of Tennessee, Kentucky, and Virginia. All right, the atmosphere is changing here. Look at this. We got a bench, some rocks, some trees, and we got a display that says Kentucky's music in the 1750s. Wilderness Road, from a time before our recorded history, Native Americans followed a buffalo trace from the coastal plains to the east over the Appalachian Mountains to the west and finally into the bluegrass region of present-day Kentucky. Through a notch in the mountains, Dr. Thomas Walker, one of the region's earliest explorers, called it the Cumberland Gap. And this hat, this jacket, this shirt, this badge, this buckle and belt, got another cool leather big belt right there. That's really neat. It's got a screaming eagle on it. This belonged to Jerry Chestnut. There's a picture of him wearing a similar hat. He was born in 1931 in Harlan County. While growing up in coal mining camps, Jerry spent much of his time playing his guitar and listening to the Grand Ole Opry. After enlisting in the Air Force, Jerry served in the Far East during the Korean War. Upon his discharge, he moved to Florida, where he became a railway conductor while also performing for local radio stations. Chestnut would move to Nashville in 1958 and pursue a music career. The hit songwriter Jerry Chestnut has received dozens of BMI awards, 2 from ASCAP, 2 Grammy nominations, and 1 Tony, numerous gold records, and several platinum ones. In 1996, he was inducted into the Nashville Songwriters Foundation Hall of Fame. And in 1999, he was inducted into the International Songwriters Association Hall of Fame. As we take the corner, we've got like a stage set up. We've got an artist by the name of Dottie Rambo. This was her dress. There's a picture of Dottie right there. Here is her CCMA Award, Songwriter of the Year, 2003. Here's one of her albums, autographed, Stand by the River. There's Dottie. There's some photos here. And look, here's a picture of Dottie Rambo and Elvis. And here's a picture of Dottie and the legendary Tina Turner right there. And right here we have Front Porch Pickin'. Sign says, when European settlers came to settle in the Appalachians, they brought their long acoustic instruments, plaintive British ballads, and lively Irish reels. The resulting music style was rooted in the folk melodies of the old country, but the lyrics focused on the lives of hard-working American folks. Kentucky's music heritage can be traced back in time to the front porches of homes throughout the state. Songs were a way to tell the stories of times and pass down each generation even to this day. Families and friends would gather to sing tunes. In the early 1900s, scholars, researchers from England and America began to collect and search their primitive ballads and singing styles. Kentucky would be prime hunting ground as many households played and sang. To this day, folks continue to gather with friends to sing the songs that tell the tale. Pick up a guitar and banjo and sing us a song right here on our front porch. Pick up a guitar, sing a song, snag a selfie. That's amazing. They've got a stand-up bass here. Wow, I've never played a stand-up bass. That's cool. I have played a guitar though. Right, this one's kind of cracked there. There are 2 guitars. Oh wow. Not in tune. Let's try the other one. And this one's missing the bottom string. Whoops. I do have a tuner on my phone. Ooh, that thing doesn't want to turn. I'm just going to break it. Oh, I'm trying to tune it. Yeah, this thing is busted. See if I can do something with it. Out of tune guitar, what can you do? There is blood on the saddle, blood all around. That's for you Country Bears fans. Tex Ritter. They got hand sanitizer. That's cool. Kentucky music 1900s. We are traveling through time, as you can see. I'm not reading every single sign. That would take a day or two to put it in one vlog. But it's really nice how they have this awesome timeline as you're walking through the history of Kentucky country music. I am blown away with how nice and neat and the amazing stuff we've seen so far. And this is the timeline of listening to music. We've got the radio, 1901, LP record, 1930, cassette tapes, 1963. I didn't realize they were that old, actually. 1964, 8-track tape, 82, the CD, 87, the MP3. I didn't know the MP3 was as old as me. And 2005, streaming audio from your phone, my friend. This display here talks about the history of broadcast, and they have many of old radio equipment that was used. This is Kentucky's first licensed radio station. Bradley Kincaid hosted the Mountain Boy WLD. We saw a shirt back a few moments ago that Bradley wore. I think this is just like oh wow, yeah, that's actually got like glass tubes in it. That thing is legit RCA. Look at this old pump organ. It's basically a traveling organ. The Estee Organ Company crafted this traveling organ in the early 30s, often used by evangelists. The organ was used in traveling sermons. It is played by using the foot pedals to pump air into sound chambers while being leveled like any other organ. Huh, that's unique. I've never seen one of those. Makes sense. There's the pedals down there. See the pedals? We're getting into the 1920s and 30s Kentucky. I've never seen a piano quite like this one. There she is, Rosemary Clooney. We were just talking about you, Rosemary. It says box grand piano, 1860, donated by the Singleton family in memory of Aberdeen Singleton. That's amazing. I've never seen a piano like that. Rosemary Clooney was born in May of 1928. She was a pop, jazz, and blues singer of film and radio. She began her career at the young age of 13, singing with her sister Betty on Cincinnati radio. She later became a band vocalist and rose to instant fame with her recording of Come On A My House. I also remember her from the movie White Christmas, co-starring with Bing Crosby. It talks about that here too. Clooney signed a recording contract with Concord Jazz, one that would produce a string of more than a dozen successful recordings. I almost missed this giant sign. Look at this. Kentucky's own station, WHAS, Heartland. And right across and down the way from that, we've got a car in here. I see some Bill Monroe stuff too. And of course the musicians needed vehicles to travel to perform the shows, to see their fans. And that's what it's saying here. This is an old Ford. I think it's a Ford. The Monroe Brothers' first hit record was What Will You Give in Exchange for Your Soul? They followed up with a string of hits that have since become standards. All the Good Times Are Past and Gone, New River Train, Rollin' My Sweet Baby's Arms, among them. Then, after 4 years, the brothers parted ways. Bill Monroe formed the Bluegrass Boys, a band that brought a new caliber of musicianship to the Grand Ole Opry stage. In fact, nobody had heard anything quite like it. The Bluegrass Boys speeded up and sometimes playing familiar songs at 3 times their ordinary tempo and played in keys that were unheard of in country music. Some listeners complained, but most of them loved it. And we have entered another chamber here. Check this out. This is definitely the largest room we have entered yet. Over here, Loretta Lynn. We'll get there. We got Sam Bush, Jason Grabb, T.D. Young, Pete Gobble, the Everly Brothers. See some R.C. Colacan in there. Look at that. That's cool. Everly Brothers. Carly Pierce, Nora Lee Allen, Tommy White. And then over here, this will be like the next portion of this museum. This place just keeps getting bigger. I thought I was almost done. We've got more memorabilia and instruments from other inductees. And also, you've got Loretta Lynn Way right there. We'll make our way, Loretta. But first, we're going back to you here. Coal Miner's Daughter, Honky Tonk Girl, The Pill. You're looking at country. Butcher Holler, Kentucky, 1935. Country singer, songwriter, trailblazer, pioneer, inductee, and as you can see at that time, she had not passed away. Rest in peace. Here is one of Loretta Lynn's guitars. It says Loretta Lynn right there. That's amazing. No strings attached. And then here's one of her dresses, her iconic dresses. Wow, that's a pretty dress. That's amazing. And not only one dress, but 2 over here, and also another outfit, a yellow one here. That is so cool. And then up there is the cabin in Butcher Hollow. That's where she was born. That's amazing. I would love to visit that one day. Much ahead. And just to the right of Loretta over here, we have Merle Travis. We've got one of his guitars and jackets on display, boots and hat. Merle Travis, Dark as a Dungeon. I love that song. It's an old coal mining song. 16 Tons, 9-Pound Hammer, I'm a Pilgrim, Rosewood, Kentucky, 1917 to 1983. Guitar stylist, singer, songwriter, pioneer inductee, one of the original inductees to this museum. It's a really cool jacket. I'd rock it. Also, that guitar is amazing. Look at that gold. Also his name there on the neck. It's a cool Gibson. And then right next door to Merle, Bill Monroe, the godfather of bluegrass. His shirt, tie, his whole suit here. There he is, Bluegrass 1970 to 1979. Bill Monroe. It's a cool album there. He's playing the little mandolin. And Ricky Skaggs. A coat and matching boots here for Ricky Skaggs. There's a picture of him. Some of his albums. There's a really young picture of Ricky Skaggs there. Look at that. Kentucky Recording Service. I don't know if we can go in here. I think it's probably locked. I think they actually record in here. Oh yeah, it's like a recording studio. That's neat. Vocal lessons with Amber and Studio London. There you go. There's the information right there if you want to do it. Ooh, it's dark in here. Ooh, look at that, automatic lights. We got another car, and I think that's a Ford too. Look at that, Model A Ford, classic. It just keeps going. It looks like we have an entire display of the band Exile in here. Exile, that's a cool name. And one of my personal favorites, the hat, the shirt, the pants. Can you tell by the bell bottoms? Dwight Yoakam, inducted in 2008. Country music singer songwriter. I'm thinking of guitars, Cadillacs, hillbilly music. I always think of Terminator 2 too. Born in Pikeville, Kentucky. Does he really need an introduction? Guitars, Cadillacs, Honky Tonk Man, Long White Cadillac. He's also a physician. He's a doctor, and he still tours. I would like to see Dwight Yoakam in concert one day. That'd be fun. And right next door to Dwight Yoakam here, same year, 2008 inductee, John Michael Montgomery. Now, I'm from the 90s, so I've heard some John Michael Montgomery country songs, classic, and that's cool. That is an awesome jacket. I would love to rock it. If you could, you would, you want you be my baby tonight. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Amazing. He's from Danville, Kentucky. Been to Danville, Kentucky. Didn't realize that. That was the birthplace of Kentucky. Any Patty Loveless fans? These items belong to Patty. She was inducted here in 2011. And also right next door, Crystal Gale. It's an album of Crystal Gale right there. Also, there's some of her shoes. There's a cassette tape. Crystal Gale was inducted in 2008 also. She was first country female artist to achieve platinum. Sales of the album, We Must Believe in Magic. And her most popular songs were Don't Make My Brown Eyes Blue, Ready for the Times to Get Better, and I'll Get Over You. Sonny Lemaire, bass player. We've got Marlon Hargis, keyboarder. Steve Goatsman, drums. Also got his pants and shoes down here. We've got Les Taylor, the guitarist. These are all outfits worn by the band Exile, and J.P. Pennington, guitar. And last but not least, the vocalist. That's a cool jacket. Jimmy Stokely. And here's a picture of Exile. Very, that's probably 80s. I was going to say 70s. Early 80s. Here's a cool photo of Exile. That's definitely 80s. There is just a ton of Exile memorabilia here at the back of the museum. Photographs, albums, instruments, clothes. There's a snare drum. There's a baseball bat there. An Exile Louisville Slugger, of course. That's amazing. Exile. They got many of their albums up here. Exile, greatest hits. What's your favorite Exile song? I hope you Exile fans enjoyed that. Okay, check it out. Whoa, we've got more over here. Also, we've got some interactive stuff going on. What is this? Keeps the music flowing. This is more so for the kiddos. We got crayons over here. Design, a guitar strap, a guitar pick. All right, Backstreet's back. All right, okay. I didn't realize this. I didn't think they would be in the Country Music Hall of Fame, but hey, the Backstreet Boys, Brian Luttrell and Kevin Richardson, both born in Lexington, Kentucky. And they have many of their items on display here. This is awesome. Just Within Reach, an Earth Foundation founded by Kevin Richardson of the Backstreet Boys. It's one of his foundations. He signed that. Brian signed that picture there. I remember these basketball shoes. I actually think I had a pair of these. I think those are Kevin's basketball shoes from the Backstreet Boys. That's amazing. Kentucky Thoroughblades. Here's one of Kevin's outfits. I think I remember him wearing this like in a music video. Also, Brian Luttrell, Healthy Hearts Club for Kids. That's Brian's organization. And he signed it right there. Everybody, yeah, yeah, rock your body, yeah, yeah. Everybody, rock your body now. Backstreet's back, all right. Oh my God, we're back again. I'm gonna delete this. Oh wow, I always wanted to play one of these, like Steve Urkel. It's not working. Oh, you ruined it, little kid. You ruined my dream. Play us a song, you're the little piano man. Play us a song tonight. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, we've got the Judds in here. Whoa, that's cool. Farewell Tour 1991 dress. Check it out. The Judds, Naomi, and Winona embarked on their unforgettable farewell tour, touching hearts across the nation one final time. So this is Naomi Judd's dress. That's cool. And her little slippers down there. Look at that. They match. And it looks like, yeah, I think that's right there. Her and Winona. Naomi's wearing that dress right there. Farewell Tour 1991 dress. That's so cool. All right, Grandpa Jones, one of the original inductees to this Hall of Fame. Inducted 2002, Lewis Marshall Jones, known as Grandpa Jones, was born in October of 1913. Jones was a country singer, comedian, and banjo player. He was the youngest of 10 children of sharecropping parents who performed music locally. His father was an old-time fiddle player, and his mother was a ballad singer. Jones spent his teenage years in Akron, Ohio, where he began singing country music tunes on the radio show WJW. In 1931, Jones joined the Pine Ridge String Band, which provided the musical accompaniment for the Lum and Abner Show. By 1935, his pursuit of music career took him to WBZ Radio in Boston, Massachusetts, where he met Bradley Kincaid, who gave him the nickname Grandpa Jones when he was 22 years old because of his stage grumpiness and early morning radio show. That good old Mountain Dew. Melody and harmony, Kentucky music. We got another pick and play station. We could play a dulcimer? That's cool. Also, check out the steel guitar. We've got a violin here, banjo, mandolin, and the guitar. That sounds a lot better. Am I really the only one here in the country music Hall of Fame? And once you leave this portion of the museum, I'll look back over this way. You might remember this room. It's got the automatic lights, but then we turn around. There it goes. Then we turn around and we are back to where we started. Look at that. There is so much history here. So much I couldn't show. Come check them out right off of Interstate 75 if you're traveling down 75, just south of Kentucky, right before you get to Tennessee. We are actually a couple exits down from Corbin, Kentucky, the birthplace of KFC. So right in that general area. You will be blown away at what you will find in here. I have only just scratched the surface here in this video. Country music singer, songwriter, and honky-tonk owner, Bobby Mackey. Got a lot of memorabilia to look at here, photographs, cowboy boots. That's a really cool Roy Rogers guitar there. That's amazing. There's one of his albums over here, Truckin'. I like that, Truckin'. And Bobby Mackey was a Pepsi man. How do I know that? Because he had a song called Pepsi Man. And it looks like they induct every 4 years. So 2018, 2022, Carly Pierce, T.D. Young, Pete Gobble, Nora Lee Allen, Tommy White, and Marty Brown. And guess what? This year, 2026, the new inductees will be placed right here. That's pretty neat. Every 4 years, that's really good. Thank you for visiting. Please exit through the museum gift shop. Also, they are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Bye. I look forward to coming back sometime, just stopping in and picking up a guitar, or perhaps next time a mandolin. Before the gift shop is an original seat from the Old Barn Theater in Renfro Valley, 1939. We're going to go check that out next door after the gift shop. And we got t-shirts. Kentucky Music Hall of Fame t-shirts, of course. Whitley Skaggs, Crow Monroe. Got the hoodie. Got a lot of knickknacks. Patty Wax, Give a Dog a Bone. Well, play me some mountain music. I like that. Like Grandma and Grandpa used to play. Oh, look, it's Dolly. She followed me from Tennessee. That's a neat puzzle. I like this little Fender amp lunchbox. They got these little cases, the guitar cases. I think there's an actual little guitar in there. No, it's just empty. A lot of books in here. Notice this one. Folk Songs of Southern Appalachia. Gene Ritchie. Hey, just learned about her in the museum. And take note, this is like a barn. So in the barn stall over here, they actually have independent music, Kentucky music for sale. And there's Blackstone Cherry. You can buy their album right here. Buy all their albums here. Not just independent, but they do have their classics in here. Dolly. Oak Ridge Boys. Look at that. We got some Tennessee coming in strong. My dad had this CD. Alan Jackson's Greatest Hits Volume 11. I bet I have it hanging around somewhere. Alright, I'm always buying Christmas ornaments to attractions. I think I'm going to get a banjo to commemorate the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame and Museum. Why not? It's going to go on my Christmas tree this year. Alright, small banjo, small bag. Look at that. That's cool. That was a great time. I spent a couple hours in there. I could have spent a couple more hours in there if you know what I mean. Come check them out. Right down here, over on the other side, I'm probably going to drive over there, is the Renfro Barn. So here we are at the gates of the Renfro Valley Barn Dance parking lot. As you can see, the gates are shut. This is a giant property. There's a lot of historic buildings out here and a church. That's cool. Okay, so the barn's on the other side. It's closed right now, but I think I can see it from the main road up there. So I'm going to drive out and around. Real country music shows. There you go, the barn. I don't know if that's the original barn, but that is the Renfro Valley Barn Dance Pavilion, as they were talking about in the museum, which is right next door. This is a huge complex. I can imagine seeing a country music show out here. Comment below if you have ever done it. I'm sure it's a good time. Alright guys, I want to thank everyone for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know. Give the video a thumbs up. Let me know what your favorite part was. Let me know if I missed anything. I always appreciate you being here. We will see you tomorrow, right back here in Kentucky. A little spoiler. I never do this, but I'm going to do it today because I'm going there now. I'm going on a Civil War battlefield mountain hiking adventure. There's much ahead. Know you're awesome, know you're loved, and no matter who you are, and no matter what you're going through, just know that there's always much ahead for you, my friend. Let the birds take us away. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.